Hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Common Constitutionalist Weekly Podcast. And again, I am the Common Constitutionalist. Today, I would like to bring to you a couple of topics. The first one is Sandy Hook. Remember Sandy Hook, the elementary school that got shot up by that dirtbag Adam Lanza? This was probably going on 4 years ago. Well, they have just unveiled their new school, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. And also, we can't just let the email hack of the Democratic National Committee and the Democratic Democratic Camp. Let me try this again. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee email hack, and it just reveals what absolute despicable dirtbags the Democrats are. And all that all that fun today on the Common Constitutionalist.
You're listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcast from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Okie dokie. So the all-new Sandy Hook Elementary School is going to be opening up this fall with this grand unveiling, and I guess they had like a walkthrough for parents and the press and everything recently, and everybody was really impressed with the new school. And the New York Times writes that after 3.5 years of grieving the unspeakable tragedy that unfolded at Sandy Hook Elementary School in late 2012, students and parents will return to a new school next month that is intended to foster healing and protection, as well as education. Yes, foster healing and protection. Oh yeah, and we'll throw in a little education at school too. So what had transpired in the time that after the school shootings, the school was basically shut down. Kids were moved over to other schools temporarily for 3.5, almost going on 4 years. And the Newtown School District decided to demolish the old building out of respect for the families and whoever. And then after dozens of meetings with local officials and probably state officials, and who knows if Obama was represented there, who the heck knows, they decided to build an entire new school on a different section of the same property. And this I've seen pictures of this school, and this is not your traditional brick and mortar school building, cinder block school building. The Times writes that the new building was designed by, I guess it's Sviggles and Partners of New Haven. Yes, the school district or the state or the community or whomever contracted a architectural firm to create a new school, as if there aren't enough schools around the country, thousands of schools around the country where you could just email somebody and say, hey, your school looks okay, why don't you send me a print of it and we'll just copy it. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to do that for the folks of Newtown, but no, they had to go hire an architectural firm from New Haven to completely redesign a new school for, what was it, intended for fostering, healing, and protection. Oh yeah, and a little education. The school, they claim, will serve just under 400 students from preschool through 4th grade at a cost of $50 million. 50 million dinero, man. I don't know if that's an expensive school, but they ain't doing it on the cheap. And I've seen pictures of this, and they sure as crap didn't do this sucker on the cheap. According to the Times, it draws its inspiration from nature, echoing the wooded, undulating landscape of Newtown itself. Ah, yes. Entrance is tucked into a stand of trees, and 3 footbridges cross the property. The front of the building, clad in wood, glass, and fieldstone, seems to roll in waves. How fabulous. I'm sure the little kids, will appreciate the fine architecture worth $50 million freaking dollars. Because it's all about the education, and it's all about the children, naturally. And this is all supposed to be for healing of the children. I don't know. All I know is that they say that there's only the incoming fourth graders were the only ones present during 2012. So the other kids, all the other kids in the school, know little about this, weren't involved directly, didn't see anything, only heard of it through, I'm sure, their parents and other kids talking or something, I don't know. So most of the kids didn't experience this tragedy personally. Well, the Times writes that there's no formal memorial to the shooting on school grounds, that local officials determined that the school grounds were not an appropriate place to install a memorial, but a commission is working on plans for one elsewhere in Newtown. Now, I don't know, is it just me? Am I that bloody cynical about this whole thing? But it seems to me that we're erecting memorials almost on a daily basis for everything that happens. Yeah, this was a tragedy. There is no doubt about it. There were, 20 kids and 6 teachers killed by this bag of crap? Yeah, I get it. This was a tragedy. But you grieve and then you move on. You don't wallow in your grief. And putting up memorials, I remember, I thought memorials were for the founding fathers and for war heroes and things like that. But I don't know, maybe it is just me, I don't know. But one of the school officials said that what the school does possess in abundance is winsome architectural elements and artwork, inside and out, that evoke the New England town's semi-rural character. It offers a warm and calming environment for our students. Again, I don't want to let my cynicism get out too far here, but I'm sorry, this is just ridiculous. This isn't, the kids don't care about this stuff. The kids are there to go to school to learn. Okay, they go to a big concrete structure, they sit down at a desk, and the teacher teaches them stuff. This is not supposed to be some big memorial, despite the fact that they say they didn't build a memorial. They kinda did. And I'm sure all the little kids that are walking the school grounds during recess, assuming they even have that anymore, are going to notice what did he say? The winsome architectural elements and artwork. I'm sure they'll be very appreciative of that. Now, some of the other architectural warming and calming features are a soaring lobby that features aluminum tree sculptures set against the wall of windows, giant mobiles of metal leaves hanging from the ceiling, and the exterior is topped with weather vanes depicting local wildlife. Yes, the little children will appreciate that, I'm sure. And all these accoutrements, these lovely artwork elements, will better the kids' education. It'll make them want to learn more. I will be willing to bet. Now, you may be asking, where'd they get the cash? Where'd they get $50 million for a school that's going to house under 400 kids? Well, here's the answer. The Times writes that the state of Connecticut offered the district $50 million for the new school, and residents voted overwhelmingly to accept the money. Of course they did, because the residents, most likely, most of them at least, probably think, hey, it's a grant. It's free money. It comes from unicorn butts or something. I don't know where they think it comes from, but it comes from themselves. The taxpayers of Connecticut, or the taxpayers, you and I, through some sort of federal payola or something to the state of Connecticut, has been washed through the state of Connecticut, and out comes a $50 million grant to architecturally design and build this massive school for little kids. It's ridiculous. But don't for a minute think that they didn't forget about security, because they sure didn't forget about the security within the design of this fabulous structure. Apparently, the school district and the town council people, or whatever they are, had conferred with state officials on recommendations from the School Safety Infrastructure Council, which was formed in 2013 in response to the shooting. So not only do you get this wonderful, fabulous, aesthetically pleasing to the children, I'm sure, facility, but you also get an additional layer of fine bureaucracy for the safety of the children. So some of the security features will be classrooms with these funky locks on them that can be locked either from the inside or the outside, completely secured. And on the side of the doors, adjacent to the doors, will be windows that are bullet resistant, and the interior walls are also reinforced. So you've got it's holy mackerel. So I guess they'll be good to go if the Russians happen to parachute in and attack Newtown, Connecticut. They'll be good to go in their bunkers, dressed up like classrooms. Now, more aesthetic design features of the school for the $50 million that they spent. They include 3 courtyards, study spaces designed to look like tree houses, and a moat-like rain garden, along with ultra-safe measures including, like I said, the aforementioned heavy-duty windows and a high-tech surveillance system. Hooray. Now, at the unveiling event of this new school, one of the town's selectmen, Pat LaRodra, I don't know how it's pronounced, his or her name, probably a woman, she said that, "Let me state unequivocally that we would trade in a minute this beautiful new school for the more familiar and ancient Sandy Hook school built in the 50s if we could just change the past. Way to go, Captain Obvious," or whatever. Can I get a duh? I mean, was that really need to be said? But you're a politician, so of course you needed to say something ridiculous like that. And not to be left out of the mix, at the Democrat convention, of course, they had to get involved in this project too. It says that Erica Schmigelski, I guess that's how you pronounce her name, whose mother was Dawn Hawkspring, who was principal of Sandy Hook Elementary School. She was one of the ones killed trying to protect the kids, and bully for her for trying to protect the kids, and she did, from what I understand. She, the daughter, addressed the Democrat convention, naturally, of course, because, as they always say, what do they say about never letting a good crisis go to waste? That's what they say, and so, of course, the Democrats are going to capitalize on that. So let me say in closing of this segment, is that this school is not for the kids. This school is for the parents and for the town and whomever to wallow in their misery for the rest of their natural lives, or as long as they stay in Newtown. That's what this is. This is a reminder of what happened. No longer are we allowed to mourn in this country. You mourn for a period of time, and then you get on with your life, and you go forward. Isn't that what progressives are supposed to do? Move forward, but no, they don't. 5 or 10 years from now, these kids, unless they're, of course, reminded by the parents or the teachers or whomever, they're not going to remember a thing about this event. And frankly, that's the way it should be. If you really want to shelter your children, so to speak, and keep them safe, you don't need to continually remind them of a tragedy like this. You mourn, you get over it, and you go on with your life. But the hand-wringing liberals, the same people who memorialize all these tragedies across the world, they just can't seem to get over it. They live for this kind of stuff, and it's just it's a shame. It really is a shame. And I know I sound cynical, and maybe I am, and maybe it's just me. I don't know. But this is ridiculous. They should have just built the school back up again. and taught the kids a lesson learned. You know what? You give the school district, instead of $50 million, you give them about $500,000, and you say you buy them all weapons. The ones who are willing to carry, you get the NRA to give them or offer them training at a discount. You pay for the school district pays for the training, and then you post a big freaking sign outside of the school that says, "Our teachers are well armed. Enter at your own risk." And that'll take care of everything. I guarantee you, no dirtbag's going to darken their door with a big sign like that on it. No chance, no how. So on that note, let's take a break.
You're listening to the Common Constitution. Let the truth be known.
All right. Let's get back to it, shall we? This comes to us from Yahoo News and the Daily Mail. Kind of strange bedfellows, since the Daily Mail usually gives you the straight skinny on stuff, doesn't have a liberal bias to it, and the Yahoo News is nothing but liberal bias. That is what they are. They're like the wholly owned subsidiary, like the Washington Post or the New York Times or whatnot. So they are leftist as leftist can be. But in any event, this is regarding, as I said in the opening, the hacks of the Democrat National Committee and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Yay! I got it right the first time. Hooray for me. Anyway, I'm kind of surprised that Yahoo News even bothered to print this or to put this up on the interweb, because it sure don't shed a very good light on the Democrats, that's for shizzle. They write that hackers, whom the U.S. intelligence officials have concluded were Russian, I don't know how they concluded that, they don't say, but we'll take them at their word, that the U.S. intelligence officials are actually intelligent, and they know what they're doing. First time for everything, I suppose. At least recently, anyway. But they, let me let me start over again, shall we? Hackers, whom U.S. intelligence officials have concluded were Russian, gained access to the entire network of the fundraising Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, or the DCCC. Si, senor. They said people familiar with the matter detailing the extent of the breach to Reuters for the first time, and that the hack was first reported by Reuters on Thursday prior to Hillary, the criminal Clinton, getting up doing her speech. Reuters tried to contact Russian officials. As of yet, they haven't returned the phone call. Gee, I wonder why. But the DCCC, senor, said in a statement early on Friday that it has hired cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike to investigate the matter. An official at the DCCC said that we have taken and are continuing to take steps to enhance the security of our network. Gee, really? I wonder why you're doing that. We are cooperating with federal law enforcement with respect to their ongoing investigation. Now, of course, we've all heard that the Trumpster, Donald Trump, had to weigh in on this affair. Hey, what the heck? It's free game right now. We're in the general election, so tweet away, Donald, tweet away. He was talking about Hillary, yes, but he was also talking about Huma Abedin, who is the vice chair and Clinton's closest aide, the vice chair of the DCCC, senor, and Hillary's closest aide has been for years. And Trump said that Huma Abedin's ability to be trusted with secrets has already been questioned. She, of course, is Anthony Weiner's wife, and who Trump says is a sleazeball and a pervert. Well, that's that's pretty well known. As when we're certainly not going to rehash those incidents or that incident. Yeesh. And he said that I'm not saying that about Anthony Weiner and Huma Abedin. That's recorded history. I don't like Huma going home at night and telling Anthony Weiner all these secrets. Well, yeah, I don't think you need to worry as much about Anthony Weiner as you do Huma Abedin. What was that movie? It was Married to the Mob or something like that. Well, Anthony Weiner could make a movie, Married to the Muslim Brotherhood, because Huma Abedin is known to have ties through her family to the Muslim Brotherhood, which is easily as ruthless as the mob. But I want to go back and I want to retouch or touch back on the DCC spokesman who said that they are cooperating with federal law enforcement with respect to the ongoing investigation. Well, that's a laugh. Ha ha! That is indeed a laugh. Because back in March, the FBI met with senior Clinton officials in Brooklyn to warn them that they were targets of a cyber attack. And this was a good while before the DNC came on the attack on the DNC came to light. And Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News reported Friday, just this past Friday, that the agents asked the campaign in March to hand over internal computer logs and senior officials' email addresses, but through lawyers, of course, the campaign refused to give over the information because the FBI's request for sensitive personal and campaign information data was too broad and intrusive. Well, look where you are now. It's all out there in the press now. If you just could have cooperated with the FBI, then maybe this wouldn't have happened to you. But no, through your lawyers, you had to deny the request because it was that. Now, this is a hot one. This is a good one. Let's just think when I say this. Just picture in your mind NSA. Just picture NSA real quietly. Ready? They refused to hand over sensitive personal and campaign information data because it was too broad and intrusive. Remember, what are you thinking? NSA. They have to mine all our data. Every bit and byte of our data has to be mined from the NSA. And that ain't too broad, and that's not intrusive. But it's good enough for Joe Sixpack, you and me. But to the Democrat National Committee and to the DCCC, senor, it's not good enough. It's too intrusive, and it's just not going to work for them. For us, we don't have a choice. For them, evidently, they have a choice. And now, like I said, because they opted not to cooperate with the FBI back in March, this is where they're at now. Good. And this is one of those things that you got to look at the irony when Trump got up and said in front of the public and right to the camera that Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you'll be rewarded mightily by the press. Well, I don't know what kind of press he's talking about. I'm not sure they would reward mightily from a release from the Democrats, although a lot of this stuff has gotten out, boy, and it is really damning. So, oops, a little late on the. Maybe Donald was tipped off by Vladimir Putin ahead of time and said that we've already got all the info, so you can go out there and say this. Yeah, that's it. And as we know, or most of us know, probably know, should know, whatever, that the DNC, all the emails were leaked by WikiLeaks. They were published by WikiLeaks, and some of the stuff on here is atrocious. It's unbelievable. The fake job postings from the Trump campaign that the DNC conjured up Just absolutely atrocious. I am not a Trump guy by any stretch of the imagination, but this stuff is just atrocious. The fact that the Democrats could do this and get away with it, and there's not going to be any fallout to this thing. I mean, it should be illegal. I don't know if it is or isn't, but no one's taking the fall. Maybe some low-level schmuck is going to take the fall for this kind of stuff, but none of the higher-ups are going to. And even somebody like Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz, sure, she gets canned from the DNC, and like 5 minutes later, she's hired by Hillary. Oh, wow, that's tough. And then you look at, after reading some of these emails, that they literally trashed Bernie Sanders and did exactly what the Bernie Sanders people said that they did, the Democrats did to Bernie. They went behind his back. They trashed him in public. They did all sorts of dirty dealings behind Bernie's back to make sure that he didn't get the nomination, not as if he was going to anyway, but that's beside the point. And yet Sanders is able to be bought off. He's just another hack. He's not some socialist movement guy after all. He's just another hack who got bought off with a private jet. Are you kidding me? So you sue Sanders, folks. I can't believe you're even sticking with that guy. I mean, he's a complete and utter phony. I don't know where you'd go. Go to the Green Party, maybe? I don't know. Maybe vote for Gary Johnson. He's a liberal. He ain't no libertarian. He's a liberal. But some of these email strings are just absolutely insane. The thing about this Democrat National Committee staffer who trashed this black girl, Laquina Gibson, it's unbelievable. But they get away with this crap. It's unimaginable. I don't understand it, and it frankly should be a crime. Somebody needs to pay for this kind of stuff. Not just the fact that it was leaked or hacked or whatever, but just this backstabbing, dirty deal and stuff. We all knew the Democrats were dirtbags. That's common knowledge. But then to see it laid out in black and white and to read the emails is just unbelievable. The confirmation of what scumbags these people are. And just imagine if it was somebody, a Republican or a conservative, emails got hacked and stuff like this made the press. Holy crap, the guy would be strung up. He'd be in jail for life, and we bring back hangings or firing squads just for this purpose. But probably within a week or two, they'll move on to the next thing. Some tragedy will happen, maybe another mass shooting, some terrorist thing, something else will happen. It'll drive these guys off the front page, and nothing's going to happen to them. They'll just go on because that's who they are, and that's who this party is. They're all a bunch of disrespectful, scumbag, despicable human beings. And evidently it happens all the way down the ladder. From the top of the rung, Hillary Clinton, Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, they are just absolute despicable dirtbags. It goes all the way down to the lowly staffers. And where do you think the lowly staffers learn this stuff from? Where do you think they get their moral compass from? The bags of crap that are currently ruling this country. It's just it is absolutely despicable. So I think I've had enough of this nonsense. I'm going to wrap it up, and y'all have a great balance of the weekend, and we will talk to you next week. This is the Common Constitutionalist signing off, and I'm out.
Thank you for listening to the Common Constitutionalist Weekly Podcast.